Are you looking for ways to be a better you every day? Has travel assisted your healing journey? I'm Jackie Roby, Chief Excellence Officer of Inspired Journey Consulting, and your host for Through Inspired Eyes. Travel is one of the tools I use to overcome trauma. As a sales strategist and diversity, equity, inclusion advocate, I work with healing travel businesses to amplify their voices. It is my mission to grow emotional intelligence, promote healing, and ultimately create a kinder, more inclusive world. I'm grateful to have you here. How has your family's history impacted your everyday life? We grow up hearing we have our mother's smile or our father's eyes. But what about their beliefs, their money mindset, or their trauma? As I continue on my own healing journey, these are new bumps in the road, and they're not easy to face. Personally, I believe our subconscious knows how much we can handle. Once we've worked through one element of healing, then we can start to see other pieces that need our love and attention. In episode 30, we talked about Unpacking Us with Jake Hoppert of the Transformational Travel Council. This initiative is guiding others to heal from racism and all oppression through travel. It's something near and dear to my heart, combining things I care about and believe in: healing, inclusion, and how travel can support these. As co-creator of this initiative, I'm immersed in the conversation daily. It has me reflecting on my own groundwater and bringing it to light. As a reminder, groundwater is all of the uncontrollable things that make up who we are. It's messaging that can come from family, friends, generations before, systems, media, community. And oftentimes, it builds our implicit bias. This past weekend, we had a family movie night and watched King Richard. This is the story of Richard Williams, father to world-renowned tennis players Serena and Venus. Great movie, by the way. Highly recommend. Flash to a scene of a rainy night where the police were at their home. One of the girls asked their father, "Why are the cops here?" And our daughter said to the TV, "Because pigs play in the mud." This set me off. But why? I'm married to a Black man, raising a queer Black daughter, and I'm educated on social justice. I recognize how Black people are mistreated by the police and the justice system. It emotionally impacts my everyday life. I'm often scared for my family's safety. I am a proud anti-racist doing the work to create change in the world. Yet I was angry and offended by that statement. Let's go deeper. I was raised by generations of police officers. Referring to a cop as a pig was an insult my family would never stand for. I remember the mood in the room would quickly change if a joke was made on TV at a police officer's expense. We went from laughing to gritting teeth in an instant. It was scary. I remember looking around the room, seeing the anger in my family's eyes. Typically the adults. For the kids, we just tensed up. And there it is. I reacted in the same way that I was conditioned to. It's been 22 years since I've lived under my parents' roof. Probably 30 since I witnessed those moments. While I see the downfalls of the justice system, that comment shifted me into anger. It threw me. And for the record, anger is probably the most uncomfortable emotion for me too. So it's rare that it comes up. This is the groundwater I need to unpack. What I wanted our daughter to know was that statement doesn't support positive change. that she is brilliant and should use her words to talk about the injustice and be ready to listen to others. My brain wanted to teach her about holding space. But instead, my groundwater took over. I didn't talk about showing officers respect. It's not what it was about. She clearly stated that she would. And we know that. I did say that it was because of the police department that my sisters and I had food on the table growing up. Why does that matter in this conversation? Logically, it doesn't. But when emotions run high, they can take over, and all sense of logic goes out the window. Because I was dealing with an argumentative teen, there was no room for reflection. She began to shout at me about the injustice of the system, mentioned how she's Black and David is Black, so it's just different. It was frustrating for me. Not because those weren't facts, not because I disagreed, but really because I did agree. I knew that, and I could not express what I needed to. And I think part of me was hurt that she felt the need to explain that to me when I've been very clear in our home about my own stance, education, and what I do to create a kinder, more inclusive world. Yeah. It hurt my feelings. Of course, I'm proud of this young person for being aware and knowledgeable. Like I said, she was picking a fight with someone who was on her side. Sure, this is what teens do. They love arguing and despise apologizing. But in all fairness, I've had conversations with adults on the other side of the issue who spoke at me in the same fashion. And when I say spoke, I really mean yelled. As Love and I were going rounds, I noticed my own boundaries were being crossed. A trauma trigger was coming up quickly, adding more chaos to my already racing mind. This was not the time to keep talking. I exited with, "I love you. This personally offends me." But does it really? I was confused at my own reaction. So a few minutes after the conversation, I left the room to call my sister Tina and cry it out. I wanted to feel heard, understood, and connected to someone who was raised in the same way. Like a good sister, she listened, held space for me, and kindly suggested I explore why I felt the need to stand up for the family. She was right. Older sisters are so smart. Notice that she didn't agree with me. In fact, she gently challenged the groundwater we both have. But she allowed me to feel heard without reacting. So what did I learn from this interaction? First of all, it was a great reminder that arguing with a teenager is one of the most frustrating experiences. Second, it showed me how much I still have left to heal. And third, from all of this was a deeper empathy for each person I meet. It brought me back to Dr. Anu's words on episode 41. How these topics are sensitive for everyone and it's important to hold space. For some of us, it's challenging things we knew to be true, even if we disagree with them today. It's emotionally charged in ways we don't immediately understand, like what I went through with Love. These conversations can involve processing that doesn't always happen in the moment. And when others react at us, we become defensive when maybe that wasn't our intent. Not only could I not clearly communicate when faced with a feisty teen, but David couldn't see past his own experience with the police. He and I talked after the movie about all of the feelings that came up for both of us. It was amazing how we each interpreted the conversation so differently. Once we talked through those feelings, I was able to express the lesson I wanted to share with our daughter. We both agreed on the message, It just took more communication to get there. These discussions with people we love are so important. We can't create change without speaking to each other. It's equally important to do our own inner work to heal from racism and oppression. We need to unpack the generational beliefs that have been ingrained in us. Just like healing is a journey, the road to inclusion is the same. With many people across the globe celebrating over the next month or so, it's likely travel will take you to your loved ones. Will you talk about your groundwater? How about race, equity, and justice? Gender identity? Fat acceptance? I've got a recipe for support. On December 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Transformational Travel Council is hosting Unpacking Us, Healing During the Holidays. It's a 2-hour virtual workshop where we'll provide tips for having meaningful conversations around untouchable topics. Because all voices deserve to be heard, we keep these sessions to 25 people. It will be a safe space to share, or choose to simply listen. A conversation, not being spoken at. I'm honored to share that I'll be co-facilitating with Tanner Colton, Director of Design and Innovation for the TTC. The registration is in the show notes. Thank you for listening today and always. If you enjoy the podcast, please follow, leave a review, and share on social media. You can tag me on Instagram at Inspired Journey Consulting, and I'll reshare with gratitude. And remember, travel can heal. Are you sick of competing with wellness-washed hotels? What if I were to tell you that there are innovative ways to stand out as authentic wellness? Inspired Journey Consulting is dedicated to wellness, healing, and transformational travel. I work with the visionaries in this business to help their resorts shine brighter. The world of wellness travel can be overwhelming for travel advisors and for travelers. How are they supposed to know what property can truly provide support when everyone is adding wellness to their websites? Meanwhile, you have curated an authentic wellness experience that deserves to be seen and understood. That's why I created the Brand Ambassador Program. Sometimes we're too close to a business to find new solutions. Getting support from an experienced sales professional can change the view. With Inspired Journey, your wellness or healing resort can clarify key selling points, get expert recommendations on service opportunities, and have a trusted voice that reaches your ideal guests. Visit inspiredjourneyconsulting.com and look for Brand Ambassador under the Services menu. Schedule a discovery call today